cuisine. Get your hands messy with fresh, flavorful seafood boils, hot, bold, and made to share. Or enjoy classic Chinese and Asian dishes, perfect for lunch, dinner, or a night out with friends and family. Big flavors, generous portions, and a brand new dining experience. Big 8, now open in Lincoln.
It's basketball season, and Salt Mine City is your pregame and postgame headquarters in the Haymarket for craft beers and great food. Get ready for the game with their big, fatty 7-ounce hamburger or try a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. And don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, your basketball headquarters, now open at 2 p.m. Monday through Thursday and 11 a.m. Friday through Sunday at 8th and R.
Back Nine Golf in South Lincoln is the premier indoor golf experience in the state. The weather in the winter months is cold, windy, and as unpredictable as a tee shot on the 450-yard par 4. With top-of-the-line full-swing simulators and a PGA teaching professional, Back Nine Golf is there to help you improve your game and lower your score. Back Nine Golf is open to the public with 24/7 access for members. Learn about Back Nine's variety of memberships today and see the facility for yourself at 7501 South 15th Street in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Back Nine Golf, your premier indoor golf and events destination.
Gentlemen, are you ready for something beyond the ordinary haircut? At Scissors and Scotch Lincoln, they blend your old school barber feel with your favorite watering hole. Sink into a comfy chair, unwind with a complimentary drink, and let their master barbers handle the rest. It's not just grooming, it's an experience. Whether you're prepping for a big meeting, needing to get cleaned up before family comes to town, or just need a little time to yourself, Scissors and Scotch Lincoln delivers sharp style every time. Book now at Scissors and Scotch in Lincoln, just south of 30th and Yankee Hill Road. Unearth the secret to long-lasting tires at Tread's Central Tire Pros, a league apart in commitment, service, and expertise. This isn't just about rubber meeting the road, but trust, safety, and surety converging in perfect harmony. This is where expectations are exceeded every time. Make your appointment today at Tread's Central Tire Pros, just south of Cortland on Highway 77, or visit our website to explore our services. Remember, when it comes to tires, choose Tread's Central Tire Pros because we tread differently.
Take your operation to the next level. Right now at Landmark Implement, take advantage of special financing on model year 2019 through 2025 John Deere tractors, sprayers, and combines. Take advantage of a 12-month fixed interest waiver, followed by John Deere Financial standard rates, or choose from multiple split rate offers with approved credit. Stop by your local Landmark Implement or visit us online at landmarkimp.com today and experience the Landmark difference.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Husker Diamond Report, Nick Whyman here alongside Tristan Gomes. Tristan back here after not being here last week, but show goes on as always here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly known as Twitter, or on at channel 961 on Allo. Truly appreciate you. Had a good morning so far. Business Builders from 9 to 10, 10 to 11, Todd Euler, Power Hour. And now here we are at the Husker Diamond Report, and a lot to talk about. Last week I felt like there was a lot to talk about with Nebraska playing in Arlington at Globe Life Field. Softball was just wrapping up the Clearwater Invitational and then started a run of games in the Mary Nutter Classic in Cathedral City, California. But here we are now. less than 24 hours removed from quite the game out in Auburn, Alabama for baseball, but also Nebraska softball out in Oklahoma as well. Tristan, how you doing?
Doing well. A lot of fun action going on in the baseball and softball world in Husker land. What a game last night. I know we were talking off air. The first ever meeting between the Huskers and the Auburn Tigers, and the Huskers take the first one.
Who would have thought that it's the first time those two teams have played? Like, I was talking last week when Florida State. You remember the last time Florida State played Nebraska?
I couldn't tell you.
2005 Dairy Queen Classic at the Metrodome.
Wow.
You would have thought maybe, early season tournament, regional or whatnot. Maybe the Seminoles and the Huskers ran each other. Same with Auburn. Like, you think they would have played at some point, maybe in like Arizona, California.
You would think in one of those kind of just like in the Frisco, like Round Rock Classic or one of those preseason at Globe Life, like they would have met Auburn. I mean, Auburn was just there last week and played all the same teams that Nebraska did. So, this is exciting for, the first ever matchup.
First ever matchup, and it couldn't have gone any better for Nebraska. If you were watching the game last night, I'd love to hear what your opinions were on it. 402-464-5685. Quite the game. I mean, you have to have a subscription to watch it, obviously, but Nebraska coming in off a 1-2 weekend. I mean, a disappointing weekend, I would say, out in Texas, but you ended on a high note against Florida State. But then you're facing a top 10 team. This is a series that's going to be pivotal for your stance come postseason time if you're able to qualify for it. But to not only be down throughout, but to chip away and then take advantage when extra innings roll along and answer the call when needed. Not just one guy, but multiple guys throughout to be able to grind it out and hold on for a victory on the road against an SEC foe, which the SEC baseball conference is no joke. To be able to beat a team like that, just one win so far. Start out the weekend like that has to be a huge accomplishment in itself.
Yeah. I mean, what an unbelievable team effort. You look at the box score and we had 7 different pitchers go for the Huskers last night. And that's kind of where I want to start with Ty Horn taking them out. And he's just been the dog for Nebraska, dating back to last season and then into this season. He's been reliable, and last night wasn't his best start. I feel like those first 3 innings, he was kind of cruising, very comfortable, had quite a few strikeouts, especially that first inning. I think he was, 3 up, 3 down, 2 strikeouts, and just looked dominant. And then get to the order the second time. And I think Auburn caught on just a little bit. And when you're going against tough teams, I mean, his strike to ball ratio wasn't the best, but in those type of situations, SEC umpires are unbelievably better than I think the rest of the country. I remember we were playing Texas A&M at Portland, and like they know the strike zone so well. I think it's because SEC baseball means so much, and those coaches will get on your head if you're not calling balls and strikes correctly. But Ty Horn, not his best night. It got to that 4th inning and kind of just spiraled out of control a little bit. But Auburn just started hitting. I think it was 4 earned runs off of Ty last night. But then the bullpen came in clutch. I think it was a game where, the bullpen had to step up in order for the Huskers to, just stay in it and then just give them an opportunity going into the end of it.
So, you mentioned Ty Horn, 3 2/3, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 5 runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, 78 pitches total.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a guy that Nebraska's asking a lot out of on Friday nights. He's the Friday night starter, asking a lot of him, hey, a year ago around this time, he's probably not the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And now this is the 3rd weekend of the season. You're asked to take the ball against one of the top teams in the nation. And through 2 innings, you're right. 0-0 score, being able to keep the Tigers off the base pass. But then that 3rd inning, they played at 4 runs behind 4 hits and a Nebraska error, which was the one of the runs that he didn't earn in the bottom of the 3rd inning to jump out to a 4-0 lead, which single and a fielding error put runners on 1st and 3rd with no outs. You're in a really weird situation then, and then sac fly lifted to center field to score another run, and at that point, all momentum's gone, and there's only so much you can do. That errors are costly in baseball, and if you're not going to field the ball, we'll get to that later with Auburn. Auburn had 2 of them. Nebraska's 1. It'll cost you in big games. And Nebraska 4-0. But we're able to answer back real quickly though. They scored 2 runs in the 4th to chip away and get cut the deficit in half. But then Auburn comes right back with another run in the bottom half of the inning. Nebraska was just kind of hanging on, it felt like, after that inning. 4-0, it's early. It's only 3 innings through, but Auburn, they kept you off the board. Jake Marcinio, he was the pitcher for them. 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, but then Nebraska was able to get to the back half of the bullpen for Auburn. And Nebraska, I mean, it was all hands on deck for this game. The pitching, I mean, you mentioned it. How many guys they had? Six relievers came in to at some point in this game after Ty Horn's exit. We're able to just kind of limit the damage. Deshaun Unger got into a little bit of trouble. Caleb Clark gave up a run, but outside of that, I mean, it was a pretty a fluid situation for Nebraska's bullpen throughout, Tristan.
Yeah, absolutely. And these games are so tough because as a head coach, you want to ride your Friday guy. I mean, like you said, Ty Horn only had 78 pitches. You want to find a way to get him, getting into those 90s, getting him to, 6, innings at least, maybe get him to 7, especially when Big Ten play comes around. But right now, I think in this type of game, you realize, how Auburn had all of the momentum at home. You have to find a way to stop the bleeding. And I think going to the bullpen was definitely the right decision there. And Chase Olsen, he comes in there, he gets out of that inning, and then they bring in Cooper Katsky, who, went 2-2, which I think is exactly what Nebraska needed out of him. Was, all right, we just need to extend this. They answered with those 2 runs in the 4th, which in college baseball, we always talk about the shutdown innings. And this is for both sides because so Auburn scores 4. Nebraska comes back and finds a way to get an RBI double. They score 2, and that gives them opportunity. All right, we're on the board. Auburn is, that momentum is slowly diminishing. And then the issue is the following inning, Auburn scores 1. And so it's 5-2. You don't get that shutdown inning. But then from then on, I think the bullpen did a great job of, all right, let's just keep it here. Let's just keep it here. We'll find a way. And then that 8th inning was just a boom.
Yeah, and you mentioned that 4th inning, Sanderson reached on it, leadoff single, and then single up the middle. Later came around to score off Cole Kitchens. Cole Kitchens has been such a huge asset for Nebraska.
Huge transfer, yeah.
I mean, who would have thought that this guy would be hitting so well right at the start of the year? I mean, hit well at Southern Indiana, comes in, first weekend, first at bat as a Husker, hits a I believe it's a triple in his first at bat to drive in runs way back in Arizona at the beginning of the year, back in Scottsdale. But Nebraska was able to chip away 4-2, but the Tigers capitalized with a 4-pitch walk in the 4th, which then get RBI single up the middle again. Just Auburn was hitting it where it was, and that's what happened. 5-2 at that point. So Nebraska they weren't down for the count, but they were just kind of hanging on. And then to be able to, late in the game, Auburn's kind of rolling along with that lead, 5-2, and then Nebraska's able to come back and tie it in the 8th. I mean, Nebraska's pitching is kind of, becoming into the year, I thought pitching was kind of the concern, I would say. But the hitting, I mean, Nebraska, if they're going to swing bats like this all year and be able to, no deficit for them is out of reach. And I think that's huge for this team, not only in this game, but also going forward.
Yeah. And McMoyer, getting into that 8th inning, McMoyer, he gets on base with that error that Auburn had. So he gets on to start the inning, and then it's a single from Sanderson, Overbeek, hit by pitch. So it's all just it's not just, Nebraska's finding ways to, hit out of this thing. They have, quality at bats. They get on base. And then Dylan Carey, one of the most impressive things is a guy who doesn't let his previous bats affect him. He starts out the game 0 for 2 with 2 Ks in a hostile environment. He's been the guy for Nebraska, and then he just doesn't let that affect him. We get to the 8th inning. Here's a double from Dylan Carey on a beautiful swing out off the wall. And so that gets the Huskers, on the board again. And then Cole Kitchens, like we said, what a transfer, what a guy to come in. And he's just established himself in that lineup, kind of in that 5 spot. And he hits another double down the right field line to tie that game up. And I think Nebraska had all the momentum at that point. They were kind of just sticking in there. Jay-Sean Unger comes out of the bullpen, which crazy for Jay-Sean Unger. He was actually not going to be going back to Nebraska after this past season. He was planning on going to Iowa Western. And then he went up to the West Coast League out in the Pacific Northwest, played for the Corvallis Knights, and had an unbelievable summer. And I think Will Bolt, and Childress, the whole coaching staff said, all right, this is a guy that we need to bring back. And, he's one of the top guys out of the bullpen on a Friday night in SEC territory. And he did exactly his job, getting Nebraska to that 10th inning. Because, it was a little sketchy this entire, all of the 9th inning, all of the 10th inning. He found a way to keep them in there. But, yeah, Dylan Carey and Cole Kitchens have kind of been 2 guys that have been very consistent, just guys Nebraska can rely on.
And you need that in the middle of your order. Bill and Bennett says, do you think Dylan Carey will break Will Bolt's record for doubles in a season this year?
I could see it just based on what kind of hitter Dylan Carey is. You watch Dylan Carey hit, and he's a gap to gap guy. When he takes his hacks. He's putting barrels on the ball. He's living in gaps. It's not, just ground balls getting through. And then he's also got that power where he can hit it over the fence. But yeah, I mean, I could totally see it. I mean, I don't know how many he has right now. We're going to have to go back and look at that. But I could see it just based on the production we've seen in these first, 2 weeks in one game.
Yeah, it's the season's flying by. Conference games are starting up here in a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
2 teams have scored scoreless in the 9th, so it sends it to extras. But Nebraska was able to erupt for 4 runs on 6 hits in the top of the 10th inning to grab pretty much get a commanding 9-5 lead at that point. I kind of out of nowhere because Nebraska really kind of chipped away. We're trailing by 4 against Auburn, a really good team, a team that might be not only hosting a regional, but maybe a super regional, maybe making the trip to Omaha come early June. Nebraska was able to just find the answer. Sanderson led off the inning with a double down the left field line, and then back-to-back one-on singles by Carey and Nunez to give Nebraska its first lead of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Not even lead throughout the entire game, just kind of hang around, hang in the corner there, and then took a lead. And then, obviously, Will Jeske followed it up the consecutive singles with a 389-foot home run over the wall in left. The wall in – I want to talk about this. The wall in Auburn. It's like I don't know if it's like a green monster per se, but it's very their dimensions of their ballpark are very weird.
Yeah, it's a shorter porch. I mean, not a short porch, but like it's shorter.
Yes,
but you still have to hit kind of a moonshot if you want to get it over it. Which can be frustrating, but also a gift. I mean, you think of how many doubles that like could possibly be caught if the wall wasn't so high because an outfielder can run back and catch it. But also, there's got to be so many times where you hit it off like the top of that wall and it bounces back in and you go, anywhere else, that's a home run. But Will Jeske, more than just enough to get it out there. And he's a guy who I'm excited about. I think going into this season, we were kind of curious on what his role was going to be. He caught a little bit in high school at Lincoln Southeast and then wasn't really planning on catching when he got to Nebraska, and they kind of threw him back there. They didn't have a guy consistently, so he was kind of in the mix. And then I talked to him this preseason. He was like, no, I'm strictly in the outfield. Jeter Worthley, as a freshman, has really stepped up behind the plate in that catching position. But Will Jeske has just like written his name in this lineup with the consistency, but also with the leadership. Like he's one of the most positive people I've ever met. And I mean, like kudos to him for, not letting, the idea of him maybe not getting the start all the time, really affected him. He just, went to work, put the work in. And I mean, it showed last night just what kind of, ball player is and what kind of person he is.
Really good team with Lincoln Southeast with him, Max Butin back there too. And Montana Jones been the head coach there. They've had some really competitive teams with those guys on the roster. And kind of wild, a couple of years later, you're catching it, Lincoln Southeast, and now all of a sudden you're playing for Nebraska and hitting a go-ahead, put the game away home run essentially. But Nebraska takes a 9-5 lead at this point off that moonshot. But Auburn didn't go down quietly as we kind of expected. Nebraska a little bit on the end of that one, but the tying run on third and the go-ahead run on second, Bender induced a pop out to second base to get out of that jam. And Price Bender, that is, got out of the jam to give Nebraska a 9-8 win over number 7 Auburn last night.
What are your thoughts on, the coaching staff's decision to, we saw Jayshon Unger do what he needed to do. And then when he gets in that 10th inning, gets away from him just a little bit. And then you bring in Caleb Clark, who lets up a walk. And then you bring in Jay Siola out of Omaha Skutt. In a huge situation, like as a freshman, like that is a tough spot to be in. And then he gives up a hit, and then you bring in Price Bedner, and he gets the final 2 outs that you need. How, as a coach, I mean, it's a tough decision to make, but how, as a coach, what are you seeing out there when you go, all right, like we just put this guy out there, but he doesn't got it, and like we got to win this game?
Yeah, I mean, it's good to know that about the bullpen before the season really kicks in high gear. Caleb Clark pitched a game in Arlington where he got into a jam and couldn't get out of it. And this kind of situation happened. They put in a guy like Jay Siola. Hey, let's see how you do in this big moment. I mean, didn't get an out, but the big moment was there. And then after 7 pitches, I mean, these guys only, Clark only threw 6 pitches last night. Siola only threw 7. And then, Price, we're going to go to you. We need 2 outs from you. See what you got. I mean, maybe it's a little bit of luck. That's what, you get a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he got the ground ball. He got the ground out to start, and then
it's a little bit of luck, but it's also they just found the right guy to get in there to get out of that inning. Because if you leave a guy like Caleb Clark in there, and let's say he gives up, a run or so, it kills momentum for you. And also for a guy who's already been in that situation where, I've given up a lead late, it kills just the mojo of a relief pitcher, because a relief pitcher start giving up leads left and right. You see in the majors, you see in college baseball all the time. Guys just can't find that mojo back, and then the confidence is down. So you get him out of there. Teammates picking up Jace Iola and Clark get picked up by Price Bender, and Nebraska's able to get out of that jam. Because this Park, bloop single into right field, probably scores both those 2 runs. Then who knows what happens after that? But be able to get out of that, get that pop out of second base, clinch the first win of the series. Nebraska 9, Auburn 8 to defeat the Tigers in game 1 of a 3-game set. Game 2 is in about 3 hours on the SEC network. Excited. If Nebraska can take a series from a team like Auburn, watch out. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, and I think the mindset going into this one is, all right, last night we proved that we can, hang with this team. We can hang with the top teams in the SEC. If we just play our baseball, we limit the errors, only had 1. I think if, Nebraska keeps themselves under, 1 or less errors each game, defensively, they're going to, be up there and win that battle. And then it's all about, what's Carson Yasler going to be today? I think he has the velo to compete against SEC teams. It's just the consistency. He's got to make sure that, 1, he's throwing strikes, but those strikes aren't misses. Those strikes aren't ones that he's supposed to paint on the outside corner and they come in, because as we saw yesterday, like, this Auburn team can hit the baseball. And so I think it's just, keeping that momentum from yesterday. And, there's so many hitters in this lineup that should have so much confidence going into this game when you just, you faced one of the top SEC arms in Marcioni, as, he's one of the top Friday guys in the country. He came into the game with a .89 ERA. And so you have full belief in yourself. It's just, all right, on the pitching side, let's limit them. Let's limit the walks. Let's limit the unearned runs. And then on a hitting side, let's keep this momentum. Let's keep this confidence and just know that, like, they can hit with anyone in the country.
Yeah, so Carson Yasel will take the ball, probable for tonight. Right-handed pitcher. He has a 1-0 record with a 5.06 ERA. Going for the Tigers will be left-handed pitcher Jackson Sanders. He's 1-0 with a 3.27 ERA. So another exciting one. That game starts at 2 o'clock, SEC Network. I know it's a loaded evening for Husker athletics in general, but if you have time, it's worth the watch, because Nebraska's playing against a team that is at a high caliber. And this is crazy that we mentioned this is the first time these 2 opponents have squared off. Do you know the other team that Nebraska had on their schedule this year they have not played ever?
Oh,
I have it. I have it.
I would have to look exactly at their schedule to get an idea. Is it coming up?
Yes, and not it'll be coming up in the next couple months, but it's
Is it Maine?
It is Maine.
It is Maine. Yeah.
Because usually Nebraska will play the North Dakota States, the South Dakota States, the Omahas, the Wichita States, and whatnot. But Maine is the team, the odd one out. But from your point of view, what would a series win against a team like this mean? Because not only would it mean a lot for this group to grab that momentum, going 1 and 2, they would probably say expectations were pretty high going into Arlington, where you lose 2 close ball games and win 1, not beat a ranked team like Florida State, but to win 2 games against Auburn before your home openers has got to be a huge confidence builder, but also a momentum builder for this team.
Yeah, RPI is huge in college baseball. Any win that you can get against a top-tier opponent, any SEC opponent, because we know that Auburn is going to get into SEC play, and they're going to be playing some of the best college baseball teams in the country. So any wins that Auburn gets in those ones just prove how impressive it would be for Nebraska to take a series like this. So I'm excited for this group of guys to go out there today and, just prove, what they've been saying all offseason. We had Case Sanderson, Josh Overbeek, and Will Jeske in here, and they were talking like Omaha is the standard. It's been, over 15 years since they were last in Omaha. But, that's the goal of this team. And, in order to make it to Omaha, you have to beat top tier opponents. And so I think this is just putting it on the resume of, yeah, we can beat them. And then when, the committee or, when they're deciding on selection Sunday of, all right, which teams are going to be in this round of 64, where does Nebraska fall? What are their quality wins? And Auburn, a series win at Auburn just, solidifies them as one of those teams, Big Ten play goes well, solidifies one of those teams as, yeah, this is a team out of the Midwest that can really ball.
And look at the SEC right now in the standings. You have LSU at 2, Texas at 3, Mississippi State at 4, Arkansas at 6, Auburn at 7. There's 4 other conference teams in front of them currently in standings. And right behind Auburn, then you have Florida at 10, Georgia at 11, and Oklahoma at 13. So there are probably half the top 15 pretty much are teams from the SEC. So Auburn, the record may not look great. There's some SEC teams who have around 20 losses on the season, but they're still ranked in the top 20 because of their strength of schedule.
Yeah, and they're coming in. They came in yesterday at 7-1. Now it's 7-2. So they've already shown the action of them. Auburn is going to play good baseball. They just beat Louisville, Kansas State, and Florida State all last weekend, and Nebraska comes in and takes game 1 from them. It's just so impressive for them. And then, yeah, I mean, we look at Nebraska's losses. It came in at 4-3, now 5-3. Like, any of their losses are to quality opponents. I don't think there's been any teams that we've looked at and gone, oh, that's a bad loss. I think the Kansas State one hurts just because it's a little bit of a rivalry. But Kansas State's playing well, and then you lose to Louisville, who is ranked. You lose to Stanford, who's always good, and I think we'll have a good year in the ACC. So, Nebraska is on the right track right now, and I think this is a great way to start the season. And you're playing top tier opponents, and you're proving that you can beat them.
Yeah, I mean, today, 2:00, SEC Network, game 2 of 3. It's a series, and it'll be a fun one because Nebraska showed they can hang with the best of the best. But we'll talk about softball, the hanging with the best of the best. They played a pretty good one the other night against Oklahoma State. We'll talk about that and talk about what happened yesterday for Nebraska women's softball. They played 2 games in Tulsa, not in Stillwater, in Tulsa. Played a neutral site game and then played Tulsa. They got 2 more against Oklahoma State. Like I said, loaded evening. Not only is basketball in action, men and women, but you have softball and baseball and everything else going on around this the state of Nebraska. So we'll be right back. Husker Diamond Report, Nick Whyman, Tristan Gomes. We'll be right back here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Way out there where the sun comes up under the big red sky, I do life the way I love, with family by my side. I feel home with me, no matter where I go.
Proud of where we're from, excited for where we're going. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be. Member FDIC.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
I am Harrison Arns, producer of Ticket Weeknights and Weekends right here at 93.7 The Ticket. My favorite things to do in downtown Lincoln are checking out all the local sports events, whether it's basketball, football, volleyball, or even Lincoln Stars hockey. I enjoy it all because I get to experience one of the best sports communities in the country.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
At DWE Generations, having a plan matters, especially when it comes to protecting what's most important. They work with individuals, families, and business owners to help make smart financial decisions that support life today and set the foundation for generations. David Darlington, Russell Walton, and Cody Eiler bring decades of experience, and their dedicated team provides follow-through, answering questions, explaining next steps, and staying connected as life evolves. DWE Generations, a generational wealth planning firm. DWE Generations is a marketing name for individuals doing business as representatives of Northwestern Mutual. Visit generations.nm.com or call 402-483-7871 and ask for David, Russell, or Cody.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships. One with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful, with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals in everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
Hey guys, it's Nick Sainer. Join me on Saturday from the Galen Center in Los Angeles as 93.7 The Ticket covers Husker basketball's big road game at 3 p.m. versus Eric Musselman and the USC Trojans. I'll have pregame and postgame videos on the Ticket's social media pages, as well as commentary throughout the game. And I'll chime in for postgame beginning around 5 p.m. as well. Our coverage from Los Angeles is sponsored by the Lincoln Airport, Dio Technologies, Ben Bleicher of Professional Realty Group, a BHHS ambassador, and Scissors and Scotch Lincoln.
When you or someone you know has been seriously injured and you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will fight for the justice you deserve in court to get the very best possible outcome. Trust the compassionate and hardworking attorneys at Liberty Law Group when you need an attorney in Nebraska or Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
Looking to get a room downtown or near South Lincoln? Abe Lincoln would tell you no to the Ford Theater and yes to Lincoln Hotel. Save up to 40% off downtown Lincoln prices with a nice clean room and comfortable stay. Lincoln Hotel is locally owned and offers a day pass to the city's largest locally owned gym, Good Life Fitness. Long-term stays are available. You can learn more about pricing and book your Lincoln Hotel stay today at staylnk.com or call 402-600-0565. That's staylnk.com or call 402-600-0565.
Back Nine Golf in South Lincoln is the premier indoor golf experience in the state. The weather in the winter months is cold, windy, and as unpredictable as a tee shot on the 450-yard par 4. With top-of-the-line full-swing simulators and a PGA teaching professional, Back Nine Golf is there to help you improve your game and lower your score. Back Nine Golf is open to the public with 24/7 access for members. Learn about Back Nine's variety of memberships today and see the facility for yourself at 7501 South 15th Street in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Back Nine Golf, your premier indoor golf and events destination.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Husker Diamond Report here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Nick Whyman, Tristan Gomes rocking with you until the top of the hour before first serve of Ray Lee Coe takes over the airwaves. And then, as always, Husker basketball postgame. We'll have a doubleheader, I guess, in a sense. Women's basketball will begin at 4 o'clock when Nebraska plays Rutgers, and then at 5 o'clock right after the final buzzer between Nebraska and the USC Trojans out in sunny California. I assume it's sunny there, but I'm not going to. Nick Sainer, I saw he posted
He posted a video. It
posted a video. It looked nice, like 6 o'clock sunrise there. So sunny California, I will say. Don't judge me if it rains there like it did during the Rose Bowl or whatnot. But yeah, Nick Sainer will be there. Austin Orman, as always, will be there. We will have that from about 4 to 6 o'clock. We'll have, if you want to talk Husker basketball, men's and women's, we'll have that covered. But right now, just got done talking about Nebraska baseball and their win over Auburn, playing at 2 o'clock today, once again on the SEC Network Plus. If you have an ESPN Plus subscription, it's the same thing. Husker softball. I mean, they played the other night, kicking off a weekend of games in Oklahoma, played Oklahoma State, 16th in the nation, in, I would say, probably one of the best softball games of the year you will see to date. Low scoring, pitcher's duel, a lot of ties to it. Ruby Malin, a Scott Catholic grad, alongside Hannah and Lauren Kamenzen, all played together. Senior year, Tristan, they went 33-0. First Class B team to go undefeated. They won that championship game 14-2 over Hastings. They scored 11 runs in the first inning there in that game.
That's so crazy. I mean, yeah, Ruby has been unbelievable. She was unbelievable at Washington. She was all freshman Pac-12 when she was out there, and then makes her way to Oklahoma State. And yeah, pretty cool that we get 2 Husker natives starting in this one, and both of them pitched tremendously.
I mean, yeah, 10 innings. I mean, baseball, you go 9 innings. It's impressive. 10 innings in softball in a game that's decided by a matter of inches. I mean, this game was fun. I mean, obviously Nebraska ended up on the losing end of that one to Oklahoma State, but Oklahoma State's a good team. Like, don't get me wrong. Nebraska is right now sitting at 13-5, which is, I mean, they play a lot of games in a couple of weeks, but to lose 2-1 in that facet, they have 2 more chances against Oklahoma State tonight and tomorrow, or today and tomorrow. But this is a team that's good, and this felt like a super regional preview in a sense. It felt like that kind of, because it was Oklahoma State's home opener on Thursday, February 26th as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to highlight just Jordy Fromm's outing. I feel like she's, been getting better and better in every single one of her starts. And then, yeah, we saw it against Oklahoma State on Thursday. He goes 7 innings, gives up just 1 earned run, only 1 walk, and then 9 strikeouts against a really good Oklahoma State team. And then, yeah, Ruby Malin, 10 innings pitched, 9 strikeouts, just 1 walk and 1 earned run. So, like you said, it was a pitcher's duel. But just really good softball. That's what we saw last year in Nebraska Super Regional. It's just going to be a pitcher's duel. You're going up against the best of the best in the country. And, we talk about it week in and week out. This Husker softball team set their schedule up where they're playing some really good teams early. And I think that just, makes it easier. So when you do get into conference play and you get into, the postseason is, we've played in tough games. We've played in high energy games. And I just know that Stillwater was rocking for that one. And yeah, unfortunately, it goes to extras. And like you said, just by a few inches, Oklahoma State wins that one.
There's also web gems in this one, too. Hannah Cord caught one. I compared it to kind of the Adam Jones in the World Baseball Classic up against the wall in center field to save the lead at the time. Nebraska was up 1-0 at that point in the bottom of the 6th, makes that catch. And then to the bottom of the 7th, Oklahoma State could have walked it off in the bottom of the 7th, poked the ball in the outfield. Casey Hoffman comes up throwing, throws it right on the line and gets the out at home to send the game to extra innings. So not only, Nebraska's defense, that was kind of the talking point at the beginning of the year, they were able to back up not only Fromm, but also Jensen. And Alexis Jensen did give up the game-winning hit. She's 5-2 overall after that game. But 3 innings coming out, freshman, continuing to rise at the moment. 6 strikeouts, doesn't walk anybody. I think that's the biggest thing for her, is she doesn't put runners on base. A lot of strikeouts, pounds the zone, and rises to the moment. Obviously Rosie Davis hit the home run to win the game in a low-scoring affair, but that's one pitch out of everything she gave to that game to back up Jordy Fromm in the circle.
Yeah, like you said, 3 innings pitched, 6 strikeouts. She knows how to get hitters out. She does that consistently, and then, yeah, you just miss, one spot, and unfortunately that can be the game. But, yeah, we can get deeper into this rotation because Nebraska yesterday had a few other girls on the mound, but Jordy and Alexis have been just a 1-2, punch this entire season that I think Nebraska is going to be able to ride for so long. And then in any game where, maybe it's Jordy's not her best day, you have Alexis, or vice versa. And yeah, Alexis has been, 5-2, like you said, just some tough losses. But we've seen, when she does pitch, she can be absolutely dominant as a freshman.
Yeah, and then you mentioned, yesterday playing 2 games in Tulsa, a neutral site game to start against South Dakota State, winning that one 8-1. Hannah Kamen's in the circle for that one. 4 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, no strikeouts. The defense backed her up. South Dakota State was limited to just 3 hits throughout. In this one, Nebraska, Ava Kuzak, Hannah Core, and Emerson Cope all had 2 ribbies apiece. So just jumping on a team that you should handle business with. The South Dakota State, not a bad team though. They have 12 wins on the season so far. Solid team that you may see come regional time, depending on how that shakes out. But you're right. Hannah came in there. She's 4 on the year. She had a really good weekend in the Mary Dudder Classic in Cathedral City, California, tossing a no-hitter in that one, 42nd one in program history during that one. 42 is a lot. Like you gotta think like baseball, it's like 9 innings, but softball, but then again, just a little bloop single, it's broken up. But to be able to be consistent in Nebraska, to have so many arms at their disposal, as to be because some softball teams you just see they just run with just one person and they just roll with it.
Yeah, we've seen that. Texas Tech does that, Tennessee does that, where they have their girl, and that's who you send out there, and you ride or die with them. And I think to Nebraska's strength is you have 2 pitchers, I believe, in Alexis Jensen and Jordy Fromm, that you could do that with. But you don't have to. And I think when you're facing team, especially multiple times, is you can give them a few different looks. You can, show that you have some variety and not make it seem like it's the same person, on the mound every single time in the circle. But yeah, and then in that South Dakota State one, you have put up a 7-run 4th inning. And I think that just put them away. It was a good confidence builder after, a really tough loss to Oklahoma State. And so they defeat South Dakota State, and that one's down in Tulsa, and then they take on Tulsa following that one.
Yeah, and that one, 6 innings, another run rule victory for Nebraska. They run ruled a lot of teams out, and a lot of good teams out in California, and they bring that mojo back to Oklahoma. Obviously get the loss to the Cowgirls, is what they're named, not the Cowboys. Lose that one in extras, but bounce back with 2 solid victories in Tulsa. Tulsa now 6-10, Nebraska 13-5 on the year. Nebraska has jumped out. It's 2-1 after that. It was close throughout, but the end of the game, 6th inning, Nebraska really jumped on Tulsa throughout. Jesse Farrell talked about her a lot. Hannah Kamen in with a double in that inning. Lauren with a single in that inning. Ava Kuzak struck out, but then Kamen's in scores on a wild pitch, and then Samantha Bland with a home run to cap off the scoring, give Nebraska a 9-1 win in that one. So just getting back in, handling business, because Nebraska doesn't have any, they have 5 losses, but there's a reason they're ranked 4th. They don't really have any bad losses. Like that Oklahoma State team, probably a better team than 16, I would say. They look like a really good team from top to bottom. They have some losses to they played some teams like A&M and whatnot, but they're a better team than what their ranking was, and especially in that home opener. But in this one as well, Alexis Jensen, we mentioned it. This game now 6-2 overall in the season. She has 6 of the 13 wins on the year.
Yeah.
I mean, coming in the year, everybody thought, Jordy Fromm, but Alexis Jensen's been able to establish herself as, hey, I can hang with the best of the best. And I think that's what makes her best. And what we mentioned no walks.
Mm-hmm.
How many walks she have against Tulsa?
No walks.
No walks.
And 10 strikeouts.
Exactly. She's just going to strike everybody out and just not allow, because, it's like baseball. Same thing. If you allow walks, and
I mean, that's how innings get out of hand is, it starts out with a leadoff walk, and then, possibly the defense gets a little lazy, and then there's an error. And then that's just how the big innings start to roll. And yeah, limiting the walks is just unbelievable. And one thing I think is so great about this Husker softball team is they have just athletes. I mean, you think of Jordy Fromm, who, went from pitching 7 innings and then also being in lineup to this game against Tulsa, where Alexis, she's going to handle the circle. She's going to be dominant out there. And then Jordy can just focus on hitting, and she goes 2 for 2 with 2 walks in that one. And so she can just focus on the hitting side of things, where she is one of the best hitters in the country. And then same thing with Hannah Kamen. She also is, on the mound, can come in on the mound, but then she'll also get into the lineup and she'll find ways to produce there. So you don't only just have, hitters and then pitchers, you have all of them all in one in this lineup. And then Jessie Farrell, always just finding a way to make an impact. It seems like she's averaging at least an RBI a game up to this point. So this Husker softball team is so versatile, and I feel like that makes it so much easier for the coaching staff to go, all right, we don't always have to just rely on one person. We have a group, and a mature, older group that can help win a lot of ball games.
So Alexis Jensen, I have the stats for that, was a career high strikeouts at 10 and innings pitched at 6. She's 6-2 on the year with a 3.12 ERA in 12 appearances, 7 games started. She's already pitched 40 innings. If you believe it, that goes by quick. 40 innings already in a true freshman season. I have her walk to strikeout difference here. It's pretty crazy. So she has 71 strikeouts so far. So that's in 40 innings. Mm-hmm. That's a lot. I'll take a guess how many walks she has this year.
11?
4
walks. That is unbelievable.
I figured you'd guess in the 8 to 9. You think maybe a 4 to 4.
Well, I'm just thinking you have to. I mean, when you're pitching 40 innings, you got to walk some people, right?
4 walks, wow. 6 wild pitches though, but 71 to 4 strikeout to walk. I mean, pounding the zone. 313 of her 484 pitches have been strikes. So when we say pounding the zone, she's just pounding the zone, and that's what you want, because if you're wild and whatnot, you're gonna walks happen. But if you're just throwing strikes, I'm trying to do the quick math. Your math's not my strong suit. So about 65% of her pitches are strikes.
Yeah,
I mean that's gonna go a long way. So they have Oklahoma State again, kind of a revenge game in a sense. I mean, it's very familiar. They're probably gonna pitch Ruby Malin. That is their pitcher. Mm-hmm. You're probably gonna see Jordy Fromm, Alexis Jensen. I'm excited. This is another, like I said, it feels like a super regional, kind of a regional type of weekend when these two teams play. Former Big 12 rivals as well. Yeah, it should be a fun one, because Oklahoma State has a really good softball program, really good fan base. You saw it on Thursday night if you watched the game. And now you're, that was a Thursday night home opener. Now you're on the weekend where more families can go to the game, more, people who just love the game of sports, and Nebraska fans can make the trip down there. It should be an electric atmosphere for that one in Stillwater.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Stillwater is going to be, if you're a softball fan, Stillwater's the place to be today. And like you said, I think Nebraska, it's a little bit of a revenge game. I think you don't take it too personal, just knowing, how well that Jordy pitched in that one, as well as Alexis, is just knowing, all right, on the pitching side of it, we can win this game. It's just, all right, can we get something going against Ruby? We know how dominant she was at Washington and now at Oklahoma State. So I think it's important to just put together quality at bats. We saw it last on Thursday of, how well that Ruby can pitch and get outs. And so it's just what's our approach going to be? I mean, what pitch are we going to be expecting from her? Which pitch are we going to try to hit? If you try to hit everything, you're not going to. I mean, she has an arsenal that is hard to catch up with everything. So I think it's just being on time for your pitch, getting good at bats, and then maybe trying to draw a few more walks or just long at bats. So she does get a little tired out there. Because when you're giving up 1 run in 10 innings, you're kind of in a rhythm, and I think you have to find a way to get her out of that rhythm.
That's a 2:00 start as well on ESPN Plus between Oklahoma State and Nebraska softball. We'll recap the rest of what's ahead. Home openers are coming up. It's crazy to think. There's a chance for snow tomorrow, but cross your fingers. Home openers for Nebraska softball and Nebraska baseball are coming up here at the beginning of March. March is here. Nick Whyman, Tristan Gomes here, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Good morning, Breakers. This is Scott Miller from Midwest Bank. When I recently joined Midwest Bank, I was immediately impressed by our exceptional service. My first customer made the switch from a large corporate bank and didn't have to wait in line or call a 1-800 number. We treated him like family. He now visits the bank just to say hello. While other banks go corporate, we stay Nebraska. Visit us at midwest.bank or drop by a branch today. Your community, your bank. Midwest Bank. Member FDIC.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes. Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Golfing in 72 degrees and perfect conditions in Nebraska doesn't seem possible in the winter, but it is. Double Eagle Golf is your escape from the bone-chilling cold outside and a reason to keep the clubs out year-round. Book a bay with some friends for a weekend or come by for golf and happy hour on a weekday. Spring leagues begin in February. Get signed up today. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street, online at doubleeagle.golf. Husker Nation, your perfect softball plan is here. With the flexible Husker softball on deck deal, you choose the action. For just $38, pick any 4 games plus 1 from the Can't Miss Iowa series. Build your own schedule, catch your favorite matchups, and cheer on the Huskers your way all season long. But don't wait, these mini plans won't last. Visit huskers.com/tickets and make your own mini plan today. Go Big Red.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
A business's phone is the lifeline to its customers and potential clients. That's why it's so important that you can take calls seamlessly from anywhere, whether you're on the road or in the office. Hamilton Business Technologies can help ensure your phone rings wherever you are. We can equip your headquarters and any of its locations with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we know how to keep Nebraska businesses connected. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
No one's ever explained it this way. That's what we hear at Trade-Offs when you finally see how today's crop insurance tools work with your grain marketing plan, not in isolation. With hail and wind rates increasing and margins already tight, it's time to challenge how you look at crop insurance. It's time to ask better questions. It's time to call Trade-Offs. Call us at 402-858-7501 or visit gotradeoffs.com to start the conversation. That's GOTREDAS.com. Trados, ingrained in your success. No, seriously, give us a call.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. And on behalf of the entire Koppel team, we would like to say thank you to all of our loyal customers and employees that have allowed us to become one of the most successful GM dealerships in the country for the past 50 years. So we are celebrating that with some huge discounts. Right now, we have up to $13,500 off MSRP or 0% APR on select new models, and new Blazer EVs are leasing for $279 a month with zero down. So check us out online at koppelcars.com. All deals with approved credit. See dealer for details.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Husker Diamond Report, Nick Whyman alongside Tristan Gomes. One more segment here before we send you off to first serve with Ray Lee Coe at the top of the hour. But before we do, spring is in the air as the snow is melted for now. There's a chance for snow tomorrow, obviously. That's Nebraska. But home openers for Nebraska softball, Nebraska baseball cut up, Nebraska baseball playing this following Tuesday on March 3rd at 1:30 first pitch against the Omaha Mavericks at Hawksfield Haymarket Park. Along with that, the softball team playing their home opener doubleheader on Thursday, March 5th with South Dakota State at 4 o'clock and 6 o'clock, respectively. So it is it's a good time. You know, baseball, when baseball and softball are in the air here in Lincoln, you have a really good chance to watch two really good teams. Should be a fun time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And, you know, Nebraska, you know, taking on UNO. That's a game where you just know that UNO, they want to win. I mean, they have 15 or so guys, you know, from the state of Nebraska that, you know, if you look back at it, you would think, yeah, they probably would wish they could be playing at Nebraska versus UNO. So they have a little bit of an edge to them of, yeah, I want to prove to you that, like, I can compete with you. I can beat you. And we've seen that a few times in the past few years where you think that UNO just takes a whole bunch of pride into this game. And I don't know if Nebraska just comes into it with like, yeah, this is little brother. It's on a Tuesday. Like, this doesn't mean too much. But I think just showing your dominance, you know, you want to show your dominance around the country, you know, with a win against Auburn on a Friday night. But you also just want to show that, like, even in this area, you know, in Nebraska, and then when we start playing, you know, the Wichita states and, you know, whoever else, the South Dakota states, like when we play them, like we want to dominate this whole area. And so I think going into Tuesday, obviously focus on this weekend against Auburn with the game coming up today and then tomorrow. But then when that home opener comes, just, you know, be excited that you get to be back in playing at Haymarket in front of some of the best college baseball fans and fans that are excited for this team, especially after the win they had last night. Go into that game against UNO and just show, like, yeah, we can be dominant and we dominate this state.
Yeah, and we've seen some good teams in college baseball slip up in recent memory. We saw UCLA the other night, Texas, Arkansas, LSU losing to McNeese. It happens, and you don't want to lose to those teams because that hurts your resume. And like you said, these kids get overlooked, want to play for Nebraska, dreaming up, and then they get a chance at Omaha, and they take advantage of it and show. And we've seen in recent years, Nebraska's had some trouble with some of those Omaha Maverick teams. So that's a Tuesday, 1:30 first pitch for baseball, softball, Thursday, 4 o'clock in South Dakota State. He's Tristan Gomes. I'm Nick Whyman. First serve, Rhea Lee Coe. Man, that is a tongue twister. Coming up next here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Tomorrow is about the lessons